hypothalamus, which is a part of diencephalon and is located below the thalamus, connected with that of your pituitary gland via infundibulum. And in this way, it controls your endocrine system, and it also acts as a high nervous center, you would say, for the control of your lower autonomic centers, which are being located in your brainstem and spinal cord as lateral gray horns. And do remember the sympathetic chain present in your body, right? Now concentrate on the picture, the things that forms the anterior boundary of the hypothalamus are anterior commissure, then the optic chiasma, and you can find the lamina terminalis. This area is the lamina terminalis, right? And what else you see are on its inferior aspect. Let me mark them. They are, you can visualize, are the mammillary body and pituitary gland, of course, and then you can find that most posteriorly it will be reaching up to the tegmentum of the midbrain, right? And it lies below the hypothalamic sulcus. If I can mark it for you, this is the hypothalamic sulcus. Here, let me mark the area. This region is the hypothalamic sulcus, which is present above the hypothalamus, right? In this picture, you can see that the green color marked area is the hypothalamus, and you can now learn the boundaries easily. On its superior or dorsal aspect, you can see the structure seen in green is hypothalamus, and the blue structure above it is the thalamic region. So what things that are present superiorly, you can mention them as thalamus, along with the choroidal plexus, the fornix, and the corpus callosum. They are present superior to the hypothalamus. Okay, now we will see in the picture that we have got so many emotions and we show so many behaviors. They are also under the control of your hypothalamus. So individually we will see them. Oh yes, the feeling of fear, disgusting, and you become sad and you feel happy. And you are feeling angry as well. You are showing intimation as well. You are feeling hungry. Oh yes, you are feeling full, but you too feel empty stomach as well. Oh yes, you are feeling hot, you become thirsty, and sometimes you feel cold as well. So all these emotional and behavioral feelings are under control of your hypothalamus. Let me tell you what other parts of your brain controls these emotions and behavior. Yes, it is the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex of cerebrum. They also deal with your emotions and behavior, right? And your hypothalamus has to deal with the circadian rhythm, the wakefulness state, and you want to feel sleepy as well. All these feelings are also controlled by your hypothalamus. But what else are controlling your circadian rhythm are your thalamus, your reticular activating system, and the limbic system, in addition to your hypothalamus, right? So in short, temperature regulation and regulation of food and water intake, again the emotions, behavior, and the circadian rhythm, and of course the endocrinal control is via your hypothalamus, right? And now if we see your diencephalon or hypothalamus in the coronal section, what do you observe? That these multicolored parts are present in its medial and lateral zones, and of course in the center it is holding a cavity called as third ventricle. And now what else you see? You can observe that this region on both sides addresses the medial zone, and what else? That on adjacent to it you observe the lateral zones, right? So if you concentrate the hypothalamus in the sagittal view, and we are gonna look into the medial zone and its nuclei. So first of all, concentrate the most anterior located nuclei. This is the preoptic nucleus, right? And it also showing the merged anterior nucleus in it. Then you can observe that there lies the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And what else I want to show you is the paraventricle nucleus, which is also present here. And you see the another nucleus which is supraoptic. These nuclei are located in the medial zone. Two other nuclei, the ventromedial and dorsomedial nuclei, they are also a part of medial zone. Let me mark them. This one is the dorsomedial nucleus and this one is the ventromedial nucleus. They are also present along with the preoptic, paraventricular, supraoptic and suprachiasmatic, right? All these are the nuclei concerned in the medial zone. One more nucleus that is present in the medial zone is the arcuate nucleus, which is also called as infundable nucleus, right? And these nuclei do overlap and we will also see in the lateral zone as well. See? So that is the lateral zone and we can observe here a part of preoptic nucleus, then anterior nucleus, and you find the part of paraventricular nucleus and supraoptic nucleus as well. And in addition to them, you observe the lateral hypothalamic nuclei and dorsal hypothalamic nuclei, and you also observe the mammillary nucleus that also lies here. So we observe sometimes the overlapping of so many nuclei in the medial and lateral zone. Understand? Okay, in this picture we are gonna see that how fornix is gonna give the afferent connection towards your hypothalamus. So concentrate on its shape and location along with that of your hypothalamus. Let me mark the area of the hypothalamus, right? Now this diagram is showing the afferent pathway or the fibers coming towards your hypothalamus. So concentrate. First of all, you can see anteriorly the cortico-hypothalamic fibers from your frontal cortex are trying to enter into your hypothalamus directly, right? And then you can observe the hippocampo-hypothalamic fibers. They are entering into the hypothalamus via fornix, if you can see that. And I have already shown you the picture of the fornix, right? They are trying to enter this black shaded area called as hypothalamus. What else you see? You can see from below the tegmental fibers from the midbrain are also trying to enter into it. And if you observe anteriorly, the olfactory fibers concerned with smell, they are also trying to enter into your hypothalamus. And what else? Let me show you more posteriorly that various fibers from the thalamus. Let me show you the location of the thalamus. This is the thalamus, and from here the thalamo-hypothalamic fibers are trying to enter into your hypothalamus, right? And of course, fibers from the basal ganglia, the amygdalo-hypothalamic fibers through amygdalo complex are trying to enter through stria terminalis and are reaching into your hypothalamus. And if we concentrate, there are visual afferent fibers that are supposed to leave the optic chiasma and they enter into the suprachiasmatic nucleus of your hypothalamus, right? And another important thing, you can see the ascending or afferent fibers via taking the visceral and somatic sensations or afferents are entering into your hypothalamus, and they carry definitely the gustatory and the visceral sensations via the collateral branches of the lemniscal system and the tractus solitarius, and it involves the reticular formation. So these are all the afferent connection of the hypothalamus. We will discuss the efferent pathways that are supposed to leave the hypothalamus. So concentrate that hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract you can observe being used and is trying to enter into your anterior pituitary. Let me mark, this is the pituitary gland, and you can observe the fibers entering here, right? Now we can observe that there lies the another tract called as mammillotegmental tract. Let me show you the picture. Then you can see the mammillothalamic tract, and what else you see? You can see so many descending fibers or efferent fibers towards your brain stem and spinal cord. They are coming from hypothalamus and involving the brain stem and spinal cord, right? And they have to deal with your parasympathetic nuclei of your various cranial nerves. Let me name them: the oculomotor, the facial, the glossopharyngeal, and vagus. And they involve the reticulospinal fibers and deal with the sympathetic cells, which I have told you earlier that they have to be originated from the lateral horn of your spinal cord, right? In this way, they affect your autonomic nervous system as well. A few written information that the supraoptic nucleus, it has to deal with your ADH synthesis, right? This is the hormone. And the periventricular nucleus is supposed to produce the oxytocin hormone. And you have got another suprachiasmatic nucleus, we have seen already, is supposed to deal with your circadian rhythm. And if we stimulate the anterior portion, that will causing the cooling and parasympathetic system stimulation, right? And when the posterior portion of the hypothalamus is stimulated, it will cause heat and sympathetic system will be activated. And if the medial area of hypothalamus is stimulated, you feel full or satiety center is activated. And if your lateral area is stimulated, you have got the feelings of hunger. It means the lateral hypothalamus carries hunger center, and along with this hunger center, it also has got the thirst center, that you feel thirsty if the lateral area is stimulated. And if the medial region is stimulated, that carries the satiety center, so that inhibits your eating and food intake, right? So up till far we have seen that how your hypothalamus is giving so many efferent and receiving afferent fibers throughout your brain and the spinal cord, and has to deal with your autonomic nervous system. Now we will see the endocrinal control as well. Here in this picture you can visualize the pituitary gland that is connected with the hypothalamus via infundibulum, right? And what else I want to show you, that it has got the endocrinal control in the anterior pituitary and the neuronal control on the posterior pituitary, right? And in this way, if you concentrate on the anterior region, you can remember the growth hormone, the thyroid hormones, and you can visualize the other hormones like FSH, LH, and MSH. They are all here produced, and the stimulatory effect is coming from the hypothalamus, and they are using the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract for this. And what else? Let me show you and mark that the posterior pituitary is receiving the neuronal secretion for the ADH and the oxytocin hormone that are being produced here and reaching here via the neuronal circuit. In this way, your endocrinal control of the body is under the control of your hypothalamus, right? And now let me show you a picture in which I have marked with the blue color the region of the hypothalamus that it is present how superiorly to your pituitary gland, and in this way it controls your endocrinal system, and also it deals with your limbic system through various pathways. It also influences your autonomic nervous system, right?